Welcome back here to the Mountain Morning Show. Thank you so much for staying with us. A topic here in Park City as well as across the country right now is mental health, as it should be. And coming up here in May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And for that, we have Shauna Wiest here, who's the Connect Summit County, the Executive Director of Connect Summit County. And we have Natalie Fink, who is a Park City High School student, here for their student-led initiatives for this coming month. Shauna, how are you doing? Thank you so much for coming in. Natalie, thanks for coming in as well. We appreciate it. So let's talk about what's coming up. You guys have a huge month ahead of you in terms of programming for the month of May. Yes. Let's talk about why it's important that we have all of this programming, all of these resources available to the community.
Well, I'll do that. This is our third annual May Mental Health Awareness Month that Connect is putting on, and the theme for this month is stigma-free, how it should be, and that came up through the Park City High School students. So we're really proud about that, but we really want to create an awareness in this community of mental health, and we want to normalize the conversation so people feel very comfortable talking about these issues if they have a loved one themselves, a colleague, a friend. And so we decide each year to put on a suite of events addressing those issues.
And it seems like these events, obviously you said this is the third annual, so yes, it seems like it's been doing a really great job at opening up the community to the discourse revolving mental health, right? Like you said before, it was very stigmatized, and you guys have kind of helped to break down those barriers and allow people to just converse about mental health in general, right?
Yes, we absolutely have. At these events, well, I'll speak to my own experience. When I attended my first May Mental Health Awareness Month in 2016 in Summit County, I was not a member of Connect at that point, and I was one of those people who sat in the back row because I felt very stigmatized by my family's mental health challenges. But the more I listened and the more I became involved in Connect, I felt better speaking about it, and I felt it was necessary.
And did it feel like you had those resources available to you to turn to, right? Which is the most important thing.
Well, we were in a very dark and isolating place, my family. I felt that personally, and these events, I felt like I had people that I could go to that made it okay to talk about these issues. So that's what we're trying to carry forward for this month, that it's okay to talk about these issues, and we're bringing in national speakers, again, to normalize the conversation so that people feel comfortable speaking out.
Excellent. And Natalie, I want to turn our attention to you right now, as a lot of this kind of starts at home and early on in early school as well as in high school. You guys have partnered up with some Park City High School students who are going to lead the student side initiative of this, right, to kind of encourage their fellow students to get involved as well. Natalie, let's talk about how you are involved and what is that experience like for you?
It's actually been really interesting. When I started this whole process with getting into more mental health, I didn't know any of the resources that we had, and a big process has been like working through that and getting those resources out to all the students that I go to school with and work with on a daily basis. So like my TED Talk that we'll be working with for the Ask Me Anything night, the big part of it is getting rid of that mental stigma that everyone has, so that we can actually talk about it. Because I struggled to be able to talk about the issues that I was going through, and I didn't know who I could turn to. So if we can have those resources available, then people can come forward and talk about it.
Absolutely, I agree. It's one of the hardest parts about talking about it is that you feel so isolated and you feel so alone, and you feel like you're the only one in the world experiencing this. But it's one of the most empowering moments, I think, for not only, I'm sure everyone, but for myself when it came to mental health, was the fact that I realized I'm not alone. There's so many people out there that feel the way I do. There's so many resources out there to help me understand the way I'm feeling. And so Connect has provided a lot of those resources to the community. Let's talk about all of the myriad of events that are coming up, right? We're kicking off on May 1st at the Jim Santee Auditorium with Mindfulness Goes Mainstream. It's a talk by Rebecca Brenner on Mindfulness 101. So this is kind of the beginning parts of the process.
I love that we're kicking off with Rebecca Brenner and the film from PBS, Mindfulness Goes Mainstream, because this is really a mental wellness talk. Let's get our minds ready to begin this month, this May Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's be open, let's be calm, and to learn some good listening skills and just sitting with yourself. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. And Rebecca Brenner is absolutely amazing. So we're thrilled to have her. But then we go quite quickly into many events. And one that I want to highlight here about normalizing the conversation is on May 8th, we are bringing Admiral James Winnefeld to Park City. And he was the former vice chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under President Barack Obama. He also served Colin Powell very high up in the military. Actually, he was number 2 in the military. And his son, Jonathan, died last September 2017 of an opiate overdose. And he and his wife are coming here, and really his theme is, I commanded the most powerful military in the world, but I could do nothing about my son's opiate addiction. And so he's going to come and tell their family's story of how they struggled through the system, how they struggled trying to find resources. Jonathan did have mental health issues, and he had the best insurance, but he couldn't get the proper resources. And now he's actually started a new nonprofit. So I'm very much looking forward to his bringing he and his wife's story here. They will be at Intermountain Park City Hospital. Robert Wells, who is the second in command at Intermountain, will be introducing him, so we're really excited about that.
Community is very honored to have him and his family here to share his story, which is a very difficult one, I'm sure, for him to share, but I'm sure that he would wants to make sure that it doesn't happen and affect many other families, and unfortunately it is right now. It's kind of the situation, so it's great that you guys are providing this resource for families who may be struggling through the same situation.
We've had opiate overdoses in Park City, and I've actually personally reached out to those families to let them know the Admiral is coming and that we welcome them, because I think it's important for them to hear that it can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter who or what you are.
That's very true. Let's also highlight your event on May 2nd at the Jim Santee Auditorium at 5:30 p.m. It's called Ask Me Anything Night, and it's a community dialogue led by the Park City High School students, which obviously you guys are doing a fantastic job. Let's talk about this whole experience. It's kind of a joint bringing together of all of the different mental health and community resources of Park City, right?
Yes, well, what it is, and then I'll let Natalie talk, is that we wanted to bring together all these different cohorts at Park City High School. Latinos in Action, the Hope Squad, Impact, which is Eli Levine's mental health group, and then also, I'm forgetting the last one. The Gay Straight Alliance. Yes, Gay Straight Alliance. And because they all have different perspectives when it comes to talking about mental health. How you feel as a Latina might be very different than from someone from the Gay Straight Alliance. So we have 4 TED Talks on various subjects led by our Park City High School students, and we'll show the TED Talk, and then we'll allow questions from the audience, and hence the name Ask Me Anything Night. And so I think Natalie, who was so nice to help create this program, is here, and I'll let her talk a little more about it.
Natalie, let's talk about your TED Talk, A Piece of My Soul. What is it about?
So I start off talking about my journey going through my mental health issues overall, and the stigma and what causes the stigma that we have, and the way we need to break down those barriers so that we can actually talk about it, and how it's a hard topic to talk about.
Absolutely.
But it's something that needs to be done, and we need to make it so that it's something that is easily talked about, and there's not fear when we can approach someone and say we have this issue.
And open up about it. Well, thank you for being brave to share your story, and
so
brave to lead this, because it's a big responsibility, but it's something that needs to be addressed, and especially with your peers and among your community in the high school. So huge thank you to all of the high school students that are leading this.
And I just want to say, when you watch these TED Talks, which we will show, and they are on our calendar events page on our website, it's amazing how articulate and brave these students are. And so we thought how wonderful to bring these topics up. One of the TED Talks will be, what does a drug addict look like? From Piper Moeller. And I think that is how brave to be able to record something like that and be so transparent about what's going on in your life.
Agreed. Lastly, before we wrap things up quickly, I just want to kind of preview a great resource that will be coming out in the summer of 2018. It's called Connect's Mental Health Resource Directory. I definitely want to highlight this, because here here coming up very soon. You guys are going to provide a resource directory to the community so they can get in touch with mental health resources in the community.
Yes, Connect was founded by a group of parents who were very frustrated by the lack of mental health services here in Summit County, and one of the things we felt would be ideal is to create a consolidated directory of all of the providers here in Summit County, if you are outside of Summit County. And so we have a new database, and we're building it right now. It's very specific, very granular, with all kinds of provider information, so that if someone is troubled, they're experiencing a mental health challenge, they can go to this database and find a provider pretty quickly.
Excellent. And what's the website, obviously, where everyone can keep up to date with everything that's happening, as well as the event calendar, so they can make sure to attend all of these great community events?
Yes, we have the, it's connectsummitcounty.org, and then when you go to our site, you'll see the calendar right on the first page. But then if you click on calendar of events, all of the events, including our Brainstorm Film Festival, which is going to be fantastic and includes a play this year, is also at that site. So I really encourage people to go to our website, check out all the events. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. Shauna, thank you so much for all that you do for the community and connecting all of these resources. And Natalie, thank you for taking the time and being brave enough to share your story and lead this initiative for the students, because it is definitely needed and necessary. So thanks to the both of you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely, our pleasure. We're going to continue here on the Mountain Morning Show, but as we mentioned, be sure and take the month of May to really consider mental health, as it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Take that time to self-reflect, maybe get some help if you need it, and definitely head over to Connect's website so you can get a look at all of the upcoming events here in Park City in the month of May. There are so many to attend, and I highly encourage that you attend at least a couple of those, because they're going to be very, very informative. We'll be right back with much more right after this.